así es como cada tarde a esta hora llueve en Phnom Penh. Cada tarde durante la temporada de los monzones llueve de este modo.
In just a few minutes, all the streets completely flat. Every summer, melted snow from the Tibetan plateaus rushes down the slopes of the Himalayas, flooding the entire surface of Cambodia through the Mekong Valley and its tributaries. Most monasteries and entrances to main streets or neighborhoods are demarcated by one or more high walls that converge at the main axis, built in accordance with the canons of classical Khmer architecture. These colossal entrances are repeated as a pattern throughout the entire urban fabric. The stylistic elements are characteristics of Khmer architecture and include the ogival, lotus-bud-shaped towers, sometimes punctuated by towering spires, as well as extensively ornamented lintels, friezes, and pediments covered with bas-reliefs. The presence of high and elaborated walls contrasts sharply with the humble and stripped-down surroundings. The closest edge is almost always a wall. The most distant border as well. Large temples or places of worship are usually preceded by a very simple but sturdy construction supported on columns. Every inch of the wall is painted with the scenes from Buddha's life. Cambodian temple enclosures are either single or multiple. Perimeter walls, many shrines mostly made of brick, do not appear to have an enclosure. The wall is clad with brick cladding of extremely careful construction. The first shrine houses a statue of Buddha in meditation. There may be many reasons for suddenly bursting into tears. There are so many that crying becomes inevitable. How long has it been since the last time? Years. What are a few tears in Cambodia? Its people gave birth to rivers from their own tears. A few steps away, what looks like a shelter built of irregular stones and cement is actually another sanctuary. Nandi, the guardian bull of Shiva, presides over the altar, surrounded by vessels to contain offerings. All Cambodian temples have at least one sacred pond. Steep staircase represents the realm of the god. especially if it is located on the side of a mountain. The vaults that form the square rooms of the sanctuaries have 4 sides. Each side forms a very high isosceles triangle whose base rests high on one of the faces. The upper terrace supports a small sanctuary. Stone elephants guard the corners of the different steps. They come down, the natives say, on moonless night to go graze in the forest, and they resume their centuries-old guard at dawn. Once the frame of a sanctuary is finished, the decorative parts are built. The entire wall is made of masonry, with no special provisions except for a very hard cement. Kala's graffiti is depicted as a scary face with a gaping mouth, protruding tongue, and sharp teeth or fangs. He often is portrayed as devouring everything in his path, symbolizing the relentless passage of time and the inevitability of death. Round, bulging eyes, wide open mouth, sometimes thin, hooked legs appear at neck level. It supports a base on which a Brahmanic deity is represented standing or sitting, but always facing forward. The funeral services offered by a house dedicated to this are not part of their rituals. The preparation of the body is done by the family. At the same time, the body remains in the house for 3 days while the monks pray for the soul of the body. This provides enough time for the craftsmen to work on the hearse bodywork. After this, the religious service and cremation are carried out. The resulting ashes are presented to the Buddhist temple in order to assist the soul in reincarnation. White is the color of mourning. Rintiboda is a raised platform on which a miniature house is built. It is a prominent structure in Cambodian society as it exists in most Cambodian homes, businesses, and even Buddhist temples. Neakta are local spirits usually portrayed and understood as ancestral spirits. Neakta, the Hindu angels and Buddha, resides in the miniature house atop the pedestal. As offerings are made every morning, it is believed that ancestral spirits will bless and bring good luck. The word Neakta means grandfather. The lower spirits residing below are the spirits of homeless people who died in or near the house and the spirits of unborn or prematurely deceased children. The Neakta has effective command power over all other spirits, especially the evil spirits of the jungle that cause diseases. This ability also introduces a connection between morality and illness that includes the Neakta. They can cause illness, gastrointestinal problems, fevers, nightmares, and emotional lability, as well as sudden death from cardiac arrest or trauma. These spirits can enter the body as a result of breaking a taboo or through witchcraft. Managing the dead is both an exercise in bidding farewell to the recently deceased in the community and an effort to cultivate positive, lasting relationships of care and reciprocity. All dead people become spirits active in the social life of their communities. The Sino-Cambodian community also appeases its ancestors with offerings in a similar way. The small shrines are made of wood and have a strong Taoist imprint. Carvers hardly speak except through their hammers and chisels. Conversation only circled about the arrival of the CNC router to the Phnom Penh market, a computerized carving machine capable of doing the work of 50 sculptures in a few minutes. The fear of losing one's job despite one's great abilities. Buddhist monks are believed to be immune to the powers of the spirit world. Saturday is the day of ghosts and demons. It's an unfortunate day. So, take care of everything on this day. The basic architectural formulas used by the Khmers were the tower shrine called Prasat and the temple mountain. In Khmer architecture, Prasat means tapered tower. Kalas, sculptures, and reliefs work as a reminder of the impermanence of life and the importance of spiritual devotion. All temples in Cambodia have at least one sacred pond. Furthermore, the Nom Rip pond is teeming with fish. A stone ship navigates its waters. The Khmers conceived the temple not as a meeting place for the faithful, but as the home of the god they worshipped. Life is a journey. The waters convey serenity and peace on a ship that safely crosses the sea of samsara towards nirvana. Shrine structures always included a tower for the main deity. Knowledge is a door ajar. Contemplation reaches its peak when it draws the faithful gaze invariably upward. Although it has all the characteristics of a temple, this type of narrower construction, made up of a complete wall and one or two parallel colonnades supporting a roof or a vault, was more specifically intended to serve as a refuge for pilgrims, as is the case of this enclosure located in a secluded area within the monastery. Wherever you look, there is Buddha. Unexpected change of direction. The tuk-tuk faces the outskirts of Siem Reap, beyond the resilient walls of Angkor that had me engrossed for weeks. Kampong Phluk is a floating village home to about 10,000 people, mostly fishermen. Drone flight to better observe its resources and development paths. Two schools, 3 pagodas, a hospital, a bridge connecting its 2 rows of houses mounted on stilts more than 30 feet high. The fact that Neakta spirits are believed to be guardians suggests that deceased ancestors are usually considered benevolent rather than malevolent, as is the case in Africa and other regions of Asia. If they are believed to be guardians, it is best to locate their shrines so that they can monitor the entire village. Food, flowers, incense, and alcohol are offered as worship at the spiritual house of Neakta. In this way, they maintain their good relationship with all the spirits and ask for blessings of wealth, good health, or any other wishes they may have. Neakta is associated with things or beings belonging to any order of nature. It lives in a plant, a tree, takes shape in a stone. It communicates through its human medium. Finally, the Neakta has an animal that helps it. A crocodile. Crocodiles combine in a single being the world of land with the world of water. Due to the annual cycles of rising and falling waters, Khmer constant work consists of reaching an agreement with water and land, with the rhythms and fertilizing power of both. Each Khmer was a being of water and land and had to reconcile within himself a complete humanity with an ever-latent animality recalled by the image of the crocodile. The crocodile marks and protects territory, as indicated by several myths depicting crocodile fights, thus evoking territorial conflicts between communities and countries.
A bordo de un restaurante flotante que está en medio de uno de los lagos más grandes acá de Siem Reap, que linda con la selva. Eso que se ve ahí en la costa es todo selva. Y este restaurante en particular se llama el Cocodrilo Flotante, y el nombre viene a cuento de que justamente uno de los platos principales de este restaurante es cocodrilo. Y esto que se ve acá adelante, este corralito, que también es un corralito flotante, no es otra cosa que un criadero de cocodrilos. Así que hay que andarse con cuidado cuando uno mete las patas en el agua.
Although it lives in much of Southeast Asia, the Siamese crocodile is native to Cambodia. The Siamese crocodile was believed to be extinct until the year 2000, when a remnant population was rediscovered in the south of the country.
My place is Kampong Pluk village, and then I'm stay on the lake. Just I'm open a restaurant from in the lake, maybe 5 years old. I'm stay on the lake, and sometime in the rainy season and dry season 2 times in the 1 year, for to change another place.
Oh,
Because in my village, 2 times the place from in the rainy season and the dry season not the same all the time. And sometimes in the rainy season the water up in the village. And sometime in dry season no water in the village. Just in the rainy season the water in the village, all the people take by boat around in the place from in the village also. And some 6 months not water, and then all the dry they have the road you can take by car and motorbike. You come in all my village here also.
How deep is this area in the lake?
Just now the dry season, maybe 1 meter from in the deep in the lake.
Oh, it's not very
so
deep.
high.
You can
Yes,
put your feet. What are those sticks?
From far or near?
From far.
Oh, from far the stick one.
Yeah,
because that one is just for in the government to take care for the place for the people find your fish. They inside not go fishing. Or because they stop for the people not go fishing in the side because they fish pregnant in the water. Just take care for no people go fishing, but they fishing outside. In there no fishing.
I see.
Yeah.
Now we are in the dry season.
Yes.
We still.
Yeah. Just
When is the start in the?
start in the border up in the village all October.
How deep is in the rainy season? The
Rainy
lake?
season maybe 10 meter and 12
Wow.
meter high.
Wow, it's a big
Just,
difference.
and the rainy season like more nice from the dry season because in the border up so high, the clean water look like the sea. Just
Wow.
look all the blue water, very nice more. Like this, not the brown like this.
You show me the how you grow the crocodiles, and I would like to know how do you prepare it to eat.
Fry and ball and just grill.
You can eat the whole crocodile or
No.
some parts.
No, some.
Some parts.
Yeah,
I
some
see.
parts.
I see.
No all.
There is also a crocodile origin of the Khmer people. In the mythical part of the Royal Chronicles of Cambodia, Lord Buddha says that the first ruler of the Khmer kingdom descended from a small crocodile living in a tree. Located deep in the jungle, Cabalspian houses a sculptural complex about 50 kilometers northeast of Siem Reap. Upon reaching the top of the mountain, there are several carvings of Vishnu and Shiva with his consort Uma, and hundreds of lingams carved into the rock from the Angkorian era. But the peculiarity of these sculptures is that they are carved into the riverbed, which earned it the nickname Valley of 1000 Lingas. Cabalspian was discovered by ethnologist Jean Boulbet in 1969. Lingams, phallic symbols representing Shiva, the destroyer. Lingams bless the waters and fertilize the plains of Angkor with holy water that flows into its soil and grants it the power to grow rice. Reclining Vishnu creates the universe. The emerging lotus flower represents the god Brahma, the divine artisan who creates the fittings of the world. Vishnu sleeps on the snake Ananta. In the ocean of milk. Principle of fertility. Principle of life. Spirits survived as discrete entities with the banning of Buddhism during the Khmer Rouge period. The communist regime that murdered more than 2 million people during dictator Pol Pot's rule. In Cambodia, the power of the dead is intertwined in monuments with the past and present histories of empires and suggests that these monuments may represent the dead. Although democratic Kampuchea's economic and social policies doesn't fit into a fascist framework, the similarities between S-21 and the Nazi death camps are striking. S-21 was once a high school, and adjacent primary school was called Tuol Sleng. Sleng is a tree that bears poisonous fruits. This name was used to designate the entire building after it became the Genocide Crimes Museum. S21 was an extreme example of a total institution. Its mission was to protect the party center. It accomplished this task in part by killing all the prisoners, in part by altering their confessions to align them with their requirements and suspicions of the party. S21 combined incarceration, investigative, judicial, and counter-espionage functions. Control over the confessions, inmates, and the staff working at S21 was absolute and followed the complex discipline that allowed the guards to dominate those under custody and preside over their refashioning. Directly responsible for S21 was Kang Kye-kyu, a short, skinny schoolteacher who used the revolutionary name Dutch. As head of S21, Dutch worked hard to control every aspect of its operations. Dutch personally met each of the victims exhibited in the Genocide Museum, but also presided over the deaths of at least 14,000 prisoners, including 2 of his own brothers-in-law who were taken to S21 and executed. What was the nature of the ideology driving this genocide? A desire for totalitarian policy and a racist project of ethnic cleansing. In the early days of Cambodia's transformation into democratic Kampuchea, all cities were evacuated. Hospitals and schools closed, factories emptied, money abolished, monasteries closed, libraries dispersed. For almost 4 years, press freedom, movement, worship, organization, association, and discussion completely disappeared. The same thing happened with everyday family life. Spiritual power is still present in the years of the Khmer Rouge dynasty, in the sites of French colonization, in the Thai and Vietnamese occupations, in the numerous events that altered society during the time of the Khmer kings. To a greater or lesser extent, a school is a purge center for the state apparatus. It shouldn't be surprising that both its supreme leader and his royal officials turned skillful torturers have all been school teachers. Including Pol Pot and his wife, the rest of his cabinet was made up of school teachers. In their academic career before becoming murderers, they surely visited these classrooms, converted later into dungeons exclusively reserved for those tortured before being sentenced to death. How to appease the resentment of the spirits of those who were killed? Even worse, how to deal with the spirits of the murderers who were later betrayed and murdered by the same regime. Dead from mass graves go from being restless, hunting ghosts to sources of protective power, requesting offerings of food, shelter, and celebration in return. The dead also need the living, whose actions invite and cultivate their wild spiritual power in order to intervene in the vagaries of life and death. However, the genocidal trend doesn't end up turning the killing fields of the Khmer Rouge into museums. The Khmer Rouge genocidal drives continues to cause casualties among civilians and innocent people, even many years after its overthrow. When Vietnam invaded Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge retreated to the border with Thailand, where they fought with Vietnamese troops and the Cambodian army for almost 2 decades. It was then that both sides planted all those mines indiscriminately. The mine explosion slices off the legs of one or more people depending on the type of mine used. Currently, almost 2,000 square kilometers of the national territory are still contaminated with 2.5 million anti-personnel mines that remain unexploded. Vast regions of Cambodia are closed to people to prevent further explosions. Even so, minefields continue to claim hundreds of victims every year. Most of the victims who were left amputees, blinded, or one-eyed by the explosion found refuge in music, either as a means of earning money or as a distant solace to easy existential pain.